Hi, Kirk. Thank you for your patience in receiving your reading, my dear. We're going to connect here and see what's coming up for you. Now, you have some very valid questions, but they're very meaty. They're very, very deep, and they're very deep topics. They're valid. They're good questions. But the approach that I'm going to take is I'm just going to let Spirit talk about what Spirit wants to talk about and bring in the guidance that Spirit wants to bring in. I am setting the intention of the questions you asked regarding wealth for future generations and being known as people of miracles and the entrepreneurship and the teacher and the wealth and the wisdom, and also about this relationship, the marriage. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of this intention in. We're going to let Spirit talk about what Spirit feels needs to be revealed in the time that we have, because these are very deep questions, and I'm just going to let Spirit guide us here in what's going to be discussed. So I'm asking Archangel Michael to please come into the reading space. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for coming into this reading space, for bringing accurate truth for Kirk Gibbs. Anything and everything that we have permission to know at this time, and everything that is going to be in Kirk's best and highest good to know regarding his desires to be a teacher, an entrepreneur, a leader, to come out of shyness, anything and everything and anything in his best and highest good to know regarding his marriage to LaDonna, his desire for a new life and a new beginning. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for keeping this reading space protected in your high vibration, only allowing love, light, and accurate truth to come in for Kirk Gibb. Thank you, Michael. Archangel Raphael, angel of true love, romantic love, soulmates, travel, healing, blockage removal, chakra clearing. Thank you for coming into this reading space and for bringing messages for Kirk Gibb regarding anything and everything that can be healed at this time, anything and everything that blocks that can be removed at this time. Thank you, Archangel Raphael, for keeping us in your healing energy. Alrighty, my dear, let's see what we have coming up for you. One more shuffle. One of the messages that's coming up for you, and this is more around the questions for manifestation. Spirit is giving me like this sense or this feeling that when you sit down and when you're manifesting, I feel like you do the thing where you daydream, which is good, right? Like that's how we're supposed to manifest, by sitting down and visualizing it and seeing it in our mind and like feeling it, and you're doing it. But I think one of the things that's slowing down the manifestation, Spirit is giving me a sense or a feeling that when you're visualizing it or you're daydreaming it, you're daydreaming it where it's like it's you, but it's a different you, right? Like this alternate universe you. And when you're seeing this person, you're not seeing it as, you in the present moment. You're seeing it as like one day, someday, I'm going to be like this version of Kirk, and this version of Kirk is confident, and this version of Kirk looks a certain way and dresses a certain way and has a certain amount of money and drives a certain kind of car and has a certain kind of wife. And so you're visualizing the things, but you're visualizing it in a way where it's like way off in the distant future, like distant far time from now. And you're trying to also like daydream how you're getting there. And that's complicating the situation. So see yourself now in the present moment. there in that dream scenario or dream kind of life, because otherwise what we're telling the universe is this is going to happen a long time from now once I've earned it, because right now I don't feel worthy the way that I am to have that life. So one day I'm going to earn it. It's a long time from now, but when I earn it, this is what my life is going to be like. And when we do it in that way, we're keeping the dream far away from us, right? So I hope you get what I mean by that, right? Like, see yourself now and see yourself happy now and see yourself succeeding in those things now as you are now, instead of like this dream you that you don't think you are, or that you think is going to be a long time before you can be that person, right? Don't see like this fantasy version of you. See you. I hope you get what I mean by that. We're going to look at the cards. That was the first message I got, but we're going to look at the cards. So, at the foundation, we have the Death card, okay? This is a card that scares a lot of people, but it actually has really positive messages. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased as a Scorpio, you know? I'm not just saying that as a Scorpio because this is the Scorpio card. This is a card that gets a bad rap. People see it and they get scared, they get worried. But anytime I've seen this reading come up for myself or for like my long-term clients, it's been before a very positive change. Now I understand that your wife is a Scorpio, right? But this is not in relation to her, not yet, because we're looking at your energy and the foundation of your energy. So even though I understand wifey is a Scorpio, this is not about her, this is about you, okay? And so what Spirit is saying with the Death card coming up at the foundation for you here is that you're going through this whole new awakening, okay? Like, you're going through this whole new transformation, and you're going to be experiencing what we refer to in the spiritual realm as ego death. Ego death sounds scary, but it's actually very liberating. It's the time that we begin shaking off the old labels, like who we were taught to be, or who we were told to be, or to like what we've been told to like, and we start going back to the authentic self. It's going to be in this process or time that we might wonder if we're going through a depression, because a lot of the old things we don't like it anymore, right? The people we liked to hang out with, we don't like hanging out with them anymore. The music we liked to listen to, we're not into it anymore. The movies we liked, we're not into it anymore. So we might think, oh my gosh, nothing brings me happiness. But that's not the case. You're just shaking off that old energy and you're going back to your core self. You're getting to know yourself all over again. And your tastes and interests are changing. And because we're talking about ego death, Kirk, this is a lot about your manifestation, okay? I feel like you've been going after this entrepreneur stuff. This entrepreneur stuff, this mentor stuff for a really long time. And you wouldn't have the dream to go in this direction if it wasn't meant for you. But the approach needs to change. The ego needs to be removed from it. This is what Spirit wants you to know. This isn't about you being seen as the miracle worker and your generations being seen as miracle workers and being seen as saviors. This is about bringing about healing and being the vessel, being the messenger. That the glory does not go to you and to your generations. The glory goes to God. Nope. there's a confirmation for us. There's a confirmation for us. Let me go ahead and silence that. Okay? But there's a confirmation for us. So this is something that needs to be seen. This is something that needs to be realized. That the ego needs to be checked out of it. Okay? Once we do that, once we can check the ego out of it, you're going to be able to have the positive changes in the movement forward. So I feel like there's a certain degree of blockage in that way. Okay? And I'm not saying this in a mean way or a judgmental way. I'm not saying this in the way to put anybody down. But it's something Spirit wants you to know. Right? Let's put clarifiers around the Death card. Clarifier 1. Clarifier 2. And clarifier 3. I want to say one more thing before I turn the clarifiers over. When I talk about removing the ego from it, Kirk, I don't think you're a conceited person. And I don't think you're an egotistical person. I don't feel that in your energy. But I feel like when you're wanting to see this vision of you being seen as a miracle worker and you know, being so like I kind of feel that underneath this, there's the desire to be loved. There's this desire to be appreciated. There's this desire to be validated or vindicated. And that's a very normal desire. But Spirit is saying remove the ego and find ways in the present moment to feel loved, to feel love for yourself, to feel worthiness now. And everything else will follow. The manifestations will start moving forward. I think it's just the perception needs to change so that the ball can start rolling. I think underneath all this, and I'm talking about ego, I don't mean you're conceited. I want to clarify that. I think underneath the ego is just, it's this desire to be loved. So Spirit is saying remove the ego, feel loved now, see your worth now, and everything else will begin moving forward. So let's look at your clarifiers. For clarifier 1, we have the 5 of Cups. Clarifier 2, we have the Emperor. And clarifier 3, we have the Queen of Wands. Ooh. lots of big messages here. Okay? The 5 of Cups is a card where we have very heavy disappointments, right? There's things that did not pan out the way we wanted them to pan out. There's things that did not go the way that we wanted them to go. Now, this does not mean that things will never get better. But you have a lot of messages here. Number 1, the 5 of Cups is saying allow yourself to process that disappointment. I think one of the things that happens when a lot of people are drawn to the law of attraction and manifesting, there's this misunderstanding, there's this false belief that we can never feel sad or angry or disappointed, because if we do, then we're being negative and we're blocking ourselves with negative emotions and we should only be positive. Well, that belief creates a block, because then what happens is people try to push down those heavier feelings and they try to keep busy and they try to like manifest the next thing, or they try to stay positive, or they try to stay happy. And so what we end up doing is we start burying feelings. We start pushing feelings down. And that creates a block. So Spirit is saying that this is the time that you have to let yourself feel the emotions. You have to let yourself feel the anger. You have to let yourself feel the disappointment. Going back to the whole thing of the why this dream is being pursued. It's to kind of heal the pain or heal the suffering, right? There's this void, there's this sadness, but it's like, well, when I have all this love and praise, when I have all this success and money, when I have a new partner, a new wife, when I have, all these women like wishing they could be with me, like then all of the suffering will have been worthwhile. Then I'll be happy, right? And Spirit is saying that that's kind of like a false trap that a lot of people fall into. This is the time to let yourself heal from the feelings and the emotions so that they're not blocking you from receiving. And so that as you're going towards this dream, you're going towards it to be of assistance to others, to be a testimony, a living testimony that's bringing people to God, that's bringing people to Spirit. It's about service. It's not about anything other than that. The Emperor card here too also gives me a sense or a feeling, my dear, that there have been some disappointments for you in your path to this entrepreneurship and this mentorship, that they didn't go the way that you had hoped or the way that you had planned. And you may have completely and totally scrapped the idea and started something completely new. Like, well, that business didn't work out, so now I'm going to try this business, right? Or I'm going to try to do this other thing instead. The thing about the Emperor didn't become successful. He didn't become the Emperor because he never made mistakes. He became the Emperor because he made a lot of mistakes, but he learned from those mistakes. He didn't pack up and move and try to start a new kingdom somewhere else every time he failed. He was able to take the experience and say, let me look at this. Why didn't this work out? What may have been a different way that I could have approached this, right? And he didn't blame himself. He didn't get mad at himself. He didn't go, oh my gosh, I can never do anything right. I have the worst luck. I'm so stupid. I should have known that. He doesn't beat himself up because he realizes hindsight is 20/20. He realizes that it's looking back over what happened where we gain our wisdom. Wisdom is learning from our mistakes. Wisdom is life experience. And so I kind of feel the approach here in your entrepreneurship, there's been a lot of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And Spirit is saying, no, you have some ideas here that are very worthwhile that just need to be approached in a different way. People who are successful, they fail a lot of times before they're successful. And a lot of the times they fail at the same thing, right? But then they go back and they're like, how can I fix it up? How can I make it better? How can I tweak it? So instead of like dropping it and going to a new project, how can you work on the initial concept? How can you approach it or present it or produce it in an improved way? This way, you won't have to keep starting over. Okay? I hope you get what I mean by that. The Queen of Wands also kind of makes me feel like there's a specific person that you're looking at her, and the more you look at her, the more difficult it is to look at your wife. Because this person is appearing to you like the perfect person. right? But I'm hearing the grass is always greener on the other side. So I don't mean this person isn't a good person. And I don't mean that you have to stay with LaShonda. I'm sure as we go through the cards, there'll be more information that comes up for us about the marriage. But I feel the person that is making you like feel so difficult about staying in your marriage, there's a situation here where there's like expectation is better than the reality of it, right? It's kind of like there's a movie and everybody's talking about the movie and you see the trailers and you're so excited, like such a good movie. And then you go and you watch it and you're like, man, what was all that hype about? That movie sucked, right? I'm not saying this person is terrible, but we get our hopes up so high that even if something isn't terrible, we might be super disappointed with it because our hopes were really high. And that's the vibe I'm getting from this person. I kind of feel there's like an expectation that the expectation exceeds the reality of it. That once you got into the reality of it, you'd be disappointed with that person. Now, does that mean that LaShonda is the person for you? No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything about LaShonda either way. I'm just saying that this other person is not what you're expecting them to be. That doesn't mean that they're a liar. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It's just like I said, sometimes we see the trailers for a movie and it looks really great, and then we see the movie and we're like, oh man, that movie did not live up to my expectations. I don't think this person's gonna live up to your expectations, is all I'm saying. So we're gonna move on and see what other messages come up. Your next card here is the High Priestess. Ooh, okay. So see, you do have a temptation. You have a temptation here. Gosh. Kirk. I feel like the person that you're drawn to does have very strong healing abilities. And I feel like going to bed with this person would be very satisfying to you. It would even feel like you're very recharged, very healed, very like on top of the world. This is someone that would make you feel very powerful, very happy. And the reason for it is because you've got all this pain. You've got this void. And you're getting this energy burst from this person. The problem is it's going to be depleting to her because she's giving a piece of herself every time. And eventually, that energy that you're getting from her, it's going to return to her. And then now you feel low, and now you got to go back for it again. It becomes a drug. It becomes an addiction. Right now, your main thing, everything else is going to follow, my dear. The way out of this marriage, finding the right soulmate for you, the success in the entrepreneurship, being able to teach and guide others, coming into this success, making this name for yourself. It's all going to happen. It's going to happen. But what needs to happen now is you need to make your spiritual connection. You need to make your spiritual connection. So the way that you're going to make your spiritual connection, I want you to think, Kirk, about out of the 4 elements, which ones bring you the most peace or the most sense of calm, the most sense of zen. Okay, so the 4 elements are going to be earth, air, water, and fire. So earth could be being out in the garden, gardening, being in nature, plants, even animals, okay? Incorporating that in your daily life, you know, like being in nature or gardening or being with that earth energy. Does that give you a sense of healing? Does that give you a sense of zen? Is it water? Maybe taking some extra long showers or some sea salt baths, or being near the water, or being out at the lake, or near the ocean. Is it fire? Like maybe lighting some candles and sitting with some candles, or going outside and having a little bonfire or something. Is it air? Air would be like essential oils, incense, fragrances, music. Music qualifies as air. Which ones give you the most sense of peace or calm? So what I want you to do, and you can pick more than one, but I want you to set aside 30 minutes 3 times a week for one of those elements at a time. If it's sitting with your candles and praying and meditating, if it's going swimming or taking a nice relaxing bath, if it's listening to music or playing music, if it's being out in the garden or going for a hike, you know, whatever it might be. And then as time goes by, you'll extend the time and the frequency. And then you can switch it up. You can do like, you know, water one day, earth the next day. You know, you can switch it up. What this is going to do, Kirk, it's going to help you find God inside of yourself. It's going to help you set the reset button and go back like to the true you. Like when you're saying, am I ever going to get over the shyness? Yes, you are. And you're going to get over the shyness when you're making the spiritual connection inside of yourself. When you're finding God inside of yourself, right? When that happens, we have nothing to fear. We have all the confidence we need. It's there, it's ready, it's inside of you. So if you can do this homework assignment that I'm giving you, you're going to be able to access it. The only thing that I'll tell you is be patient with it and give it time. Give it time. And don't put a lot of pressure on it where like you're expecting for angels to appear or for the heavens to open up and like to hear trumpets and angels singing. Like it's going to happen in a very, very peaceful way. It's not going to happen in a dramatic way. You know, and I don't know how long you've been watching my videos. I don't know if you've heard me say it in the videos, but like I was raised in the church. Okay, my dad was a minister. We went to church 3 times a week, and then on top of that, on top of church 3 times a week, a lady from the church would come over to our house and she would study the Bible with me, private one-on-one Bible study, 1 hour after school once a week. So 4 out of 7 days, I was just church, 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 God, God, God. Like I learned to read from a children's Bible. But then I lost my faith. I didn't know what to believe in. Like what I was taught turned out not to be true. And God was not in the church where I was. I didn't know how to pray anymore. I didn't know if there was a God. I was going through that whole dark night of the soul, and there was nothing. There was nowhere I could turn. There was no one I could talk to. There was no one that understood. Nothing brought me joy. Nothing brought me happiness. That whole ego death, right? The old things I used to do that made me feel better, they didn't make me feel better anymore. The only thing that made me feel any kind of peace, any kind of comfort, is I started swimming at the YMCA. That's it. I would just go a few times a week, and that was the only thing that brought me any comfort. And that's where I found God. I found God at the YMCA in the swimming pool, right? In a public swimming pool. So... and it wasn't like the sky opened up, and it wasn't like Jesus being baptized and then the dove coming down from heaven. It wasn't that. It was just like there it is. Now I remember. Now I know. right? So just give it time. Don't force it. Don't wait for fireworks. It's just, you're going to remember. You're going to remember who you are. You're going to remember why you're here. You're going to feel that confidence. You're going to feel God. There he is. There he is. You're going to feel it. Okay? Now, I want to pull clarifiers around this high priestess energy. Okay? Because I really feel this is someone that's bringing a sense of healing. But like I said, the healing isn't lasting. It's big, like you got to keep going back and getting that fix. So let's pull clarifiers here for you around that. So clarifier 1, clarifier 2, and clarifier 3. Clarifier 1 is we have the Fool. Clarifier 2, we have the Knight of Cups. In clarifier 3, we have the Ten of Cups. So I feel this person may also be in a relationship. Okay? And they may be happy with the life that they have, but they may really like the romance or the connection with you, right? There's that whole Fool energy. There's definitely a past life connection here. There's definitely a soulmate connection here. But with the High Priestess coming in, the Emperor coming in, all of these energies, this is more kind of somebody that is helping you wake up and helping you in your awakening. You still have this whole other journey to go. You got places to go. You got things to see, right? He's got his little spindle. He's not planning on staying any one place too long. Knight of Cups is a romance, but it's not necessarily a marriage, right? And I think this person sees this as a romance, but also realizes that you both have a sense of stability, and that, you know, maybe there's this connection, but that, you know, I think they kind of feel and sense and see that you're headed certain places that they're not going to be able to keep up. They're not going to be able to go. So I think this is a romance. I think this is a love affair. But it's kind of like awakening you so that you can go on your journey, so that you can go in this new direction. But I don't feel this person is your destination. I hope you understand what I mean by this. Your next card here is the Tower. The Tower is the paradigm shift. The Tower is like everything is crumbling down. What you thought was true isn't true. Things being removed from your life, stepping out of your comfort zone. So we're going to go ahead and pull clarifiers for you around the Tower card. Why is the Tower card here? What message does it have for Kirk, please? So we have clarifier 1, clarifier 2, and clarifier 3. So for clarifier 1, you have 8 of Wands. Clarifier 2, you have the 10 of Pentacles. And clarifier 3, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So as you're going through this paradigm shift and this awakening, as you're stepping out of your comfort zone and you're pursuing your passions, the things that give you a sense of happiness, the things that give you a sense of purpose, the doors to abundance are opening. You asked me, you said, am I a powerful manifester? With these cards, Spirit is saying yes. Yes, 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 yes. Because not only is 10 of Pentacles a card of abundance, it's a card of legacy, of security for generations to come, just like you said. And 10 of Pentacles is a card that indicates manifestation occurring. 10 of Pentacles indicates that the thoughts are becoming reality. They're coming into the physical reality. So yes, you are a manifester, but a lot of the old things are going to shake up and be removed. So you have to have trust, and you have to have faith and know if something is being removed, it's being removed so that you can be given what you're manifesting, what you're asking for. The Knight of Pentacles also is bringing you a message, Kirk, and saying that when you're creating this empire, when you're creating this legacy, the key to the success of it is to be consistent, to be in your consistency, okay? To keep putting one foot in front of the other. That's it. Consistency is the key to success. This is going back to the message of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Oh, that didn't work, so let me try something else. Let me pick up something new. Oh, that didn't work, let's give up on that. Let's do something else. One foot in front of the other. Look at it, analyze it, right? Look at it. How can it be improved upon? I want to pull clarifiers for you around the Knight of Pentacles. So why is Knight of Pentacles here? What message does it have for Kirk? Clarifier 1. Clarifier 2. And clarifier 3. So for clarifier 1, we have the Empress. Clarifier 2, we have the Chariot. Clarifier 3, we have the Page of Swords. The Empress is very much an entrepreneurship kind of card for me. But it's also a very loving, nurturing energy. Okay? So I do feel like one of the things that's going to help you with your healing and with your manifesting, my dear, you need soft feminine energy in your life. But I feel like what Spirit is encouraging you to do as a part of your healing is to reach out and connect with wise, loving, nurturing, kind women or a woman, but not in a romantic way, not in a sexual way, right? Like whoever this high priestess is, she's also bringing you in some gentleness, some feminine energy that maybe you're not getting from your wife, right? There might be a lot of criticism there. She might be unhappy. She may be taking her unhappiness out on you. You need that feminine energy. You need that softness. But I feel like Spirit is saying you also need to receive it in a non-sexual way. So if there are any women that you know of, that you admire, that you respect, or that you see her and you think, man, I would love to have a mom like that. Or, you know, she must be a really great mom to her kids, right? And it's going to be also, I'm going to say somebody older, somebody who's like old enough to be your mother, right? And maybe establish a friendship with them. You know, maybe be of service to them. You know, can you help them in some way? Is there something that you can do for them? And establish that friendship, that connection, because I feel like that's going to go very far in your healing. And also receiving guidance and advice. And helping you in your path to discovering your own wisdom. The Chariot, things moving forward, coming into your independence. You know, I think you need somebody to believe in you. And maybe LaShonda doesn't. And so I feel like having that nurturing, feminine, mothering energy is going to go very far for you. And the fact that the Chariot is coming up here, I don't feel that this marriage is a part of it. The Tower card may even be the marriage ending, where Spirit is removing it for you. I will pull cards specifically around the marriage. Spirit, you know, the funny thing is Spirit's talking about everything else. So I almost feel like Spirit's already removing it. Because Spirit's not, like giving it much attention or time. And this is a very independent card here. This is a very independent card here. Page of Swords is also saying another block that you're going to be able to overcome to help you with your manifestation is by speaking your truth, right? Let your yes mean yes and let your no mean no. That doesn't mean be an honest person. It means don't do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to do it, don't agree to it. And if you want to do it, speak up and say, hey, I would like to do that. I would like that opportunity, right? I don't want to go see that movie. Or no, I don't want to have Italian for dinner tonight. I don't like Italian food. Or, whatever. Like even if it's little things, speak up. Speak up and say what you feel. Because every time you do, even if it's little small things like what you're having for dinner or what movie you're watching, every time you do, you're making a statement to the universe that my opinions are valid. My feelings are valid. I have a right to want what I want. So it brings you into a healthy sense of entitlement, and it brings you into, kind of helping establish that confidence. And it helps you create the energy of your life that if there's going to be people in your life, it's going to have to be people who are taking your thoughts and feelings into consideration, who care how you feel, right? Who are taking your needs into consideration. We can't expect other people to make our feelings a priority if we don't make our own feelings a priority. So this is a way in which there's going to be a shifting. I also feel with the Page of Swords, my dear, is you are going to be public speaking, right? But you have to practice in your everyday life having your voice, right? And being able to take the lead and express what you like and what you don't like. You can be respectful about it, obviously, right? But do it. You may even be writing. Page of Swords sometimes indicates writing, energy where somebody is writing. Your next card here is the Queen of Swords. And I feel Queen of Swords is coming in with a double layer, all right? There's the first layer of where you need to adopt the energy by cutting out the riffraff from your life, cutting out the distractions, right? Anyone who's not aligned with you, they need to go. They need to go, they need to go, they need to go. You're not going to make space in your life for people who are being critical or mean or judgmental or don't share your vision, or they're distracting you from doing what you need to be doing. You're going to be cutting those people out. But the Queen of Swords is also kind of validating for me what I was feeling for you from the Empress when I was talking about like a nurturing feminine energy, because sometimes the Queen of Swords can be a very critical woman, a woman who's very critical, who's gonna be, maybe even condescending or kind of cold or harsh or mean. And that might have been your experience with a lot of women. Okay? Women can definitely be that way sometimes. But you're going to change your relationship with women. This is one of the ways in which you're going to heal. And it's going to be by aligning with that positive mentor kind of figure, maternal, motherly kind of figure, who's supportive, who's loving, who's nurturing, They don't need anything from you. They have their own stuff. It's not sexual. It's not romantic. To kind of heal a lot of the criticism that you've received. I feel maybe even from a very young age. Let's pull clarifiers around the Queen of Swords. Why is Queen of Swords here? What message does it have for Kirk? Clarifier 1, clarifier 2, and of course clarifier 3. So for clarifier 1, we have the 3 of Swords. Clarifier 2, we have the Judgment. Clarifier 3, we have the 8 of Swords. Yeah, so this is freeing yourself, right? Making the decision so that you're able to heal. I feel the marriage is hurting you. It might even be emotionally or mentally abusive. And you don't deserve that at all. Judgment card also indicates two people that are on different paths, going in different directions. And so a decision has to be made. Let's pull clarifiers here around the Judgment card. What message does the Judgment card have for Kirk? So we have here clarifier 1, clarifier 2, and of course clarifier 3. So for clarifier 1, we have the 5 of Swords. Clarifier 2, we have the 7 of Pentacles. And clarifier 3, we have the 7 of Cups. So these cards are kind of explaining to us that you feel trapped in this marriage. You want to leave. You've tried to leave, but you haven't been able to leave. And every time you've gotten up to leave and it got turned around on you and you ended up staying, you're like, what the heck just happened? What happened? Like, very confusing. Like, not even sure, you know, how you got pulled back in, but you got pulled back in. And the cards are trying to answer the question for you of how you got pulled back in. Number 1 here with the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is a card that comes up. The way that I read it in my readings is like just what I've seen from my experience. A lot of the times when we have 5 of Swords come up, you're dealing with someone that knows you very well. They've got you all figured out. They know where all your little triggers are. They know where all your little buttons are. And they know what to say and what to do that's gonna either make you feel guilty or get you all confused and trip you up. They know which buttons to push to get whatever reaction they want to get out of you. So they're gonna know how to make you feel guilty so that you don't leave. Or they're gonna know how to make you feel worthless so that you don't feel like anybody else is going to want you. Or they know how to say things or do things to make you feel afraid to move into the future, that like you're not going to be successful and then you're going to regret it. Like, they know which buttons to push to get what they want from you. So every time something happens in this marriage where you're feeling upset or where you're feeling hurt, you know, maybe step aside and maybe have a journal or something where you can keep in a private place where you know she can't see it and or find it, and go and before you react, before you respond, write it out, journal it out. What happened? What happened? What was the occurrence? What did she say or do? How did it make you feel? Why did it make you feel that way? Who else in your life has made you feel this way before? And how do you choose to feel instead moving forward from now on? Once you do this, you're going to be able to deactivate those buttons. You're going to be able to deactivate those triggers. So the next time when she goes trying to push them, they're not going to be there. They're not going to work. And she's going to lose her power over you. And you're going to be able to do what you need to do for yourself. You're going to be able to do your work, to focus on what you want to focus on. The next block that needs to be kind of healed here with the Seven of Cups. When I see the Seven of Cups, a lot of the times it comes up for somebody when they start seeing options and they don't know what to choose. They don't know what to pick because they've never been made to feel like they have a right to want anything, right? So like they're scared. They're scared they're going to pick the wrong thing. So what I want you to do is, as the options, as the solutions start to pop up in your head, you know, like, for example, the entrepreneurship, what you might be doing in terms of a business, or if you're wanting to move someplace or go back to school or whatever it is, whatever ideas are coming up in your mind about like things that you're wanting to pursue in your life outside of this marriage. Write them down in a list. And one by one, imagine yourself living your life doing those things. Which ones make you the happiest? Once you have that list, that shorter list of what feels right, what resonates, what makes you feel happy, take that shorter list and start doing the research. Like, what do I have to do to make this happen, to set this plan in motion? Do I have to go back to school to do it? Do I have to travel someplace? Are there programs or places near me? Is it going to cost money? How much money might it cost? How might I be able to come up with that money? Once you have all of that information gathered, you're not going to feel stuck anymore, because you're going to be able to look at the list and you're going to be able to know which ones are doable now, which ones you can start now, and which ones are the ones that are going to be the more long-term plans. This is how you're going to get moving. And as you're moving, people are seeing your journey. They're seeing you flourish. They're seeing you make these improvements in your life. And they're going to seek you out as a mentor, as someone who's inspiring them. But it's happening through your own journey and through your own healing first. Okay? I can testify to that. It's going to happen through your own healing first. Okay? And you're going to flourish. You're going to prosper. Let's look at your next card. You've got Two of Coins. And so Two of Coins is telling us another block Spirit wants you to deal with here. Two of Coins is when we feel or we view that things have to be very hard. Things have to be very difficult, right? The blood, sweat, and tears, the suffering, right? And Spirit is saying it doesn't have to be that hard. We can find success through doing things that bring us joy, to have a more playful approach. To, it's that spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, to adapt that kind of approach, to try to bring joy and fun and positivity in whatever we're doing. Also, the Two of Coins can sometimes indicate someone who feels embarrassed, someone who's feeling foolish, like they're looking stupid, they're looking dumb. People are like looking at them like they're a clown. So I kind of feel there's times that you're making success and you're making progress, but you start getting nervous and you start feeling like people are looking at you like you don't know what you're doing, or people are looking at you like, oh, they think I'm some kind of an imposter, or You know, like they didn't like my idea, or oh, did you see the face they made when I said that? They think what I said was stupid. Or oh, why were they looking down? Oh, I think they were looking at my shoes. Oh, they probably think that I don't have any money, and they probably like don't like my shoes, or they probably, you know, they're judging how I'm dressed, or like all these little things. We get stuck inside our head, and we start thinking that we know what other people are thinking about us. And the truth of it is, we don't know what other people are thinking about us. This is called being in your head. When you're in your head, you're not in the present moment. You're not focusing on your work. You're not focusing on your goals, because you're stuck in your head, concerned about what people might be thinking. We start getting in like the fear-based thoughts. So when this happens, remind yourself, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what this person's thinking. Maybe they looked down because they saw something move from the corner of their eye and they were trying to figure out what it was, right? Maybe they looked down because they were trying to sneak a peek at their phone because they got a text, but they were trying not to be rude and they didn't want people seeing looking at their phone. It could have been anything. You don't know why they were looking down, right? Or maybe they made a face because they have gas. You don't know why they made a face, you know? So remind yourself that there's other possibilities. It's not always going to be about them thinking something about you. And just focus in the present moment. Focus in the present moment and what you're doing. And remind yourself that, you know, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And you're doing what you're doing for yourself. And, you know, you're not a mind reader. You don't know what other people are thinking. This can kind of help keep you focused so that you don't get discouraged or flustered. We're going to pull clarifiers for you around the Two of Coins. Why is the Two of Coins here? What message does it have for Kirk? Clarifier 1. Clarifier 2. And of course, clarifier 3. Clarifier 1, we have Queen of Cups. Clarifier 2, we have the Justice card. And clarifier 3, we have the Two of Wands. So Spirit wants you to know that both the new relationship and the abundance and the opportunities and the contracts and partnerships that you're dreaming of, they're going to come in when you master that playful approach that we talked about, and when you master self-care. Queen of Cups doesn't only indicate a loving, nurturing wife, mother kind of energy, but it's also a card that indicates self-care and learning to be good to ourselves and learning to love ourselves, right? You have such a big dream, Kirk. You have a massive dream. You have a dream of being, you know, someone who's going to be helping a lot of people and healing a lot of people and guiding a lot of people. And that is exhausting. That is absolutely exhausting. And Spirit cannot grant you that position, that wish, that dream, until you have a good system in place of taking care of yourself, you know, being able to know when to turn your phone off, being in a good routine of sleep and rest and health, you know, being able to make time where you can step away and recharge your battery and do things that feel good to your spirit and feel good to your soul. That are feeding your spirit and feeding your soul. Once you master this element of self-care and, you know, being able to enjoy your work and come into this more joyous approach and, you know, making time for you and taking care of you and learning to put yourself first, that's when these opportunities can come in, right? And you have the Justice card here, which is Major Arcana. So this is in your contract, my dear. This is in your path. You are meant to succeed and you are meant to be successful, and it will occur. So hopefully this was helpful with giving you some homework and, staying on the right track and helping you with the manifesting. I thank you for giving me this chance to read for you, my dear. I thank you for your patience in receiving your reading, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. Take care.